If you are thinking about buying a condo in Greater Vancouver right now, there's something I think a lot of buyers still has not fully realized. You probably have more negotiating power today than you have had in years. But that doesn't mean you should automatically offer 10% below asking whenever you see a condo. Because here's what's interesting. We have more inventory, some properties are sitting longer on the market, we are seeing price reductions, and sellers are not competing just against the other resale condos, but in some areas, against brand new inventory as well. So yes, buyers have more leverage, but where you use that leverage and how you use it can make a huge difference. And in this video, I'm going to show you 6 things I would be looking at if I were going to buy a condo in Greater Vancouver today. And the first one is probably the biggest change in this market. One number I pay more attention in today's market is the days on market. Imagine 2 nearly identical condo. One came to the market 4 days ago. The other has been sitting for 70 days and has already had a price reduction. Which sellers do you think might be more willing to negotiate? Obviously, we don't know until we make an offer. But the time can change a seller's motivation. Maybe the seller has already purchased another property, maybe they are relocating, or maybe the listing is about to expire. Or maybe they have simply realized that the market is not willing to pay what they are originally expected. This is why I don't negotiate every property the same way. The listing price is only one piece of information. The history behind that listing can sometimes tell you much more. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see buyers make. They see price reduction by $50,000 and immediately think they are getting a deal. Not necessarily. Suppose a condo is realistically worth around $800,000. Seller lists it for $900,000, then reduce the price to $850,000. Technically, that's a $50,000 price reduction. But that doesn't suddenly make $850,000 a good value. That's why I'll always go back to comparable sales. What has similar units been actually sold for? Not what sellers are asking, because sellers can ask whatever they want. The sold properties tell us what buyers have actually been willing to pay. So in this market, don't chase the biggest discount, look for the best value. That's a big difference. Now I want to balance this discussion because there's a danger in hearing buyers have leverage and assuming every seller is desperate. They are not. The best properties can still attract attention. Good location, functional layout, good view, well-managed building, reasonable strata fee, parking, good location, and importantly, realistic pricing. When those things come together, buyers may still compete. So if you find a genuinely good condo that's already priced close to the market price, trying to force another huge discount can often backfire. This is where buyers need to separate a weak market from a weak property. The overall condo market can favor buyers while individual properties still perform extremely well. And that's why understanding the specific property matters much more than simply reading a headline saying that it's a buyer's market. For years, Vancouver buyers were trained to move quickly. You saw a good property, book the showing, and sometimes you need to decide almost immediately whether you were writing an offer or not. Today, in many parts of the condo market, buyers have something they didn't always have before: choices. And choices creates negotiating power. If there are 5 similar condos available in the same neighborhood, you don't necessarily need to convince one seller to accept your terms. You can compare all 5 and determine which seller is the most motivated. That's a very different mindset. I tell buyers today, don't just ask, do I like this condo? Ask, why should I buy this condo instead of the other 4? Because if the seller cannot give the market a good answer to that question, that's where your leverage starts. More negotiating power doesn't mean you should buy something simply because it's cheap. In fact, today's market gives you the opportunity to be more selective. I'll be very careful with properties where there are major upcoming assessments, poorly funded contingency reserve, ongoing building problem, difficult layout, excessive strata fees, or issues that could make resale difficult later. Because remember, you are negotiating the purchase price today, but someday you are probably going to be the seller. And whatever is making buyers hesitate today may still matter when you are trying to sell 5 years from now. A $30,000 discount is not necessarily a bargain if you inherit a $50,000 problem. So when I'm helping buyers negotiate, I'm not only asking how cheaply can we buy it. I'm asking, is this actually something you would like to own? So this brings us to the question everyone wants answered. How low should you offer? And unfortunately, there is not one percentage that works for every property. Instead, I look at 4 things: comparable sales, competition, days on market, seller's motivation. If a property has been sitting for months with very little activity, that's one conversation. If it has come to the market yesterday, priced well, and already 3 buyers are interested in making an offer, that's a different story. And sometimes your strongest negotiating tool is not even price. Maybe it's your closing days. Maybe it's fewer subjects. Maybe the seller needs a longer completion date. Or maybe the strongest move is simply being willing to walk away. That's the biggest advantage buyers have today. You don't necessarily have to force a deal. Sometimes you can wait for the deal to come to you. So yes, Greater Vancouver condo buyers have more powers today. But having leverage doesn't mean trying to beat every seller into submission. It means having options. It means doing your homework, understanding which sellers may be motivated, which properties are actually worth pursuing. And when numbers simply doesn't make sense for you. The buyers who do the best in this market probably won't be the ones who negotiate the best percentage below asking. They will be the buyers who purchase the right property at the right price. And if you're considering buying a condo anywhere in Greater Vancouver and want to know where I think the strongest opportunities are right now, feel free to reach out. And if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and follow me. This is Michael Chou with eXp Realty. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video, or simply, better call Mike.